Welcome everybody to a very special edition of TEW 2020. As if you haven't noticed by the main screen on my page, or by the names you see here as you look at the name or the name of your paper that says WWF Wrestlemania 19. This is a very special edition where basically we're going to book WWF Wrestlemania for the AI, so their booking sort of makes sense. And so when I actually look at the results of the matches, I'm not basically don't want to pour my eyes out with the booking of the eye, which, TW 2020, I'm never going to hurt the eye booking too bad because it's insanely hard to use, and most other wrestling games don't, booking games don't even try to do it, or with other games it's even worse. But regardless, and, if you started watching these videos with the TW 2020 edition, I did this before for WrestleMania and SummerSlam in the previous year. So this is just something I basically do, again, sort of keep things sort of on the level and go off the previous booking I've done and the booking that the game has done. Now, all this isn't perfect, and also, as you know, this is, the WWF is still in, sort of attitude area booking here, so the booking I might do might actually screw up and be worse than an AI booked game, but I actually do try to actually book the best I can for the WWF here. I'm not trying to sync them or anything weird like that. But regardless, let's just go on with the actual event here, which as in real life is coming from Safeco Field, and actually has some of the same matches, some slightly different matches, and some completely different matches. But regardless, let's get rolling. Here we go, off with WrestleMania. So we start the show live from the beautiful Safeco Field in Seattle, Washington. It says it's 40,000 people. That's because I put the number, basically the event to premium just to see if it'll, get more money. But regardless, we start out with our 6-woman lingerie match because, we need an I Can't Knee match, and the women's title match actually has a story behind it. But regardless, in about that terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd heat, Ivory, Jackie Gaeta, and Taylor Matheny defeated Jacqueline, Molly Holly, and Selena Majors in 6:30 when Taylor Matheny submitted Selena Majors to Scott 57. Again, totally okay match. Just a thing to get the women on the show so they don't complain too much. Because again, I'm not trying to sing to WWF here, so I just want to get the correct things on here. Next up, it's the Battle Royal for everybody who didn't get anything on the show. So this is a 30-man Battle Royal. This is basically everybody else on the show. Yeah. So a terrible pre-show match. Rikishi won a Battle Royal in 20 minutes. The other members of the Final Four were Raven, Randy Orton, and Val Venus, with Raven being the final elimination. Again, Raven's a member of the big stable with Steve Austin and the APA, and he's been quote-unquote feuding with Rikishi, who's been helping out his cousin The Rock the last couple weeks, or at least the last week or so that I've been booking in the game for the WWF. And as a SOP, I also had Mark Henry get the most eliminations. But then it came down to Rikishi and Rikishi throws out Raven. Again, 55, it is what it is. And I also put Randy Orton in the Final Four because he's Randy Orton 2003, so he's going to get booked somewhat strong. And then in our final match, which could have been a match on the actual show, but I didn't have time. In a poor pre-show match, Jerry Lynn defeated X-Pac in 11:48 by submission with a cross-arm breaker. Jerry Lynn makes defense number 4 as WWF Light Heavyweight title, and more importantly, Jerry Lynn wins the WWF European title. So this gets a 63. And basically, this was sort of the first bit of my in-game punishing of the Clique. I don't know. Again, if you've been paying attention to the save, you notice that Triple H cheated on Steph with Lita, and thus Triple H is now divorced from Stephanie McMahon. I've heard of, because the WWF would totally do this in real life. I've put this as part of the story in the upcoming other match Triple H is involved in, but as part of the booking that would happen, Jerry Lynn beats X-Pac for the WWF European title, and also is now 2-belt holder, and also this is going somewhere as far as what I'm going to do in game for the WWF. Regardless, Lynn wins 63, perfectly solid wrestling match. Nothing this would probably be an underrated gem people would find out about 10 years later because it's still on the pre-show. And now we go to the actual WrestleMania. Or no, when celebrating. Now we go to actual WrestleMania. So this, gets all the video package, the voiceover by whomever, just all the fireworks, the opening, it's WrestleMania 2003. It focuses on our three main storylines, which is Steve Austin and The Rock in the main event, Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle for the world title, and Triple H versus Eddie Guerrero. So this gets an 84. And then in our next thing, so we have Shawn Michaels' entrance. No, this isn't for the world title. So what happened for the world title is basically the game booked Steve Austin to win the Royal Rumble. But also what happened was that The Rock came back to wrestling, and he signed with the WWF. So I had to do Rock Austin one more time. So basically, in game, what we're pretending happening is basically Austin came back. Austin won the Rumble. It looks like it's going to be heel versus heel because Angle's the heel world champion. But the night after No Way Out, The Rock makes his return, and he basically says in his Rock way, the one reason I came back to the WWF was not for the world title, not for anything else, but for one thing. Austin, I want you one more time, one last time, for all time. And basically Austin comes out, and basically gives up his Royal Rumble title shot to have the match with The Rock. And then the game helped me actually out here is, and then next 2 weeks, Shawn Michaels actually won matches in tag matches that involved Steve Austin 1 week and Kurt Angle the next week. So I'm pretending what happened was that Michaels pinned Austin in that first tag match, and then next week he pinned Angle, and basically he was named the number 1 contender, and we've gone from here. So anyway, but also what happened was that basically Angle complained to Vince McMahon, and as part of his sort of being given the world title shot, he has to face the Big Show, who's been sort of Angle's muscle the last couple of months, as he's been a heel world champion. Or at least I'm saying that has been happening. He's teamed up with it enough times that I'm okay saying that. And so in order to keep the world title shot, basically he has to beat the Big Show, otherwise Angle has the night off. So we move on to our opening match, Shawn Michaels versus the Big Show. And in an exceptional match, Shawn Michaels defeated the Big Show in 12:47 by pinfall with sweet chin music. So Michaels got an 93, Big Show got an 82. This match got an 82, because there you go. But then after the match, as what happened last week after the contract signing, Big Show grabs HBK and puts him through a table. So this gets an 81 and sort of puts even more Shawn Michaels has now just wrestled a tough match against the seventh, the Big Show, and now he's just been put through a table. We move on to a setup for the 3-way Intercontinental title match. So this was originally set up to be Benoit versus Christian, but the game turned Benoit. So since I wasn't going to have a heel versus heel IC title match, I basically had Jeff Hardy pin Christian in a non-title match and get added to the match. Nothing too fancy aside from that. So this gets a 72. And we go on to the actual match, which in about had great wrestling and good heat, and got a 73 overall. Chris Benoit defeated Christian and Jeff Hardy in 12:25, when Chris Benoit pinned Jeff Hardy with a Dragon Suplex, and Chris Benoit wins the Intercontinental title. Basically, this is sort of me pushing the AI, because one thing is, the AI, tends to keep titles on people a little too long for what WWF was booking in 2003. But regardless, Benoit wins the title. He celebrates, which gets a 79 because Benoit is pretty over still. So yeah, Benoit is your new IC title match, IC champion, and we'll go from there. Or the game will go from there with Christian and Jeff Hardy. And then in a bout that had decent wrestling but didn't have much heat, Outcast defeated the Outcasts of Rhyno and Tommy Dreamer, defeated Dudley Boys and the APA in 10:23 when Rhyno pinned Devon Dudley with a pile driver, and the Outcasts won the WWF World Tag Team titles. So basically what I had here was that the APA has been the tag champs forever, and Dudley Boys are sort of the other really over heel team, but the Outcasts are almost all as over, and since there's they're a game created team that actually made sense, I decided to put them over here. We'll see how long they actually hang on to the tag belts. But regardless, yeah, solid match. Got a 77 because I set this as a wild brawl. So there you go. And then the Outcast Celebrates get a 42 because they're not that entertaining. Next up, we get a video to set up Chris Jericho versus Brock Lesnar. For those who don't know, I basically had Brock Lesnar debut the same way he did in real life, except with Jim Cornette as a manager instead of Paul Heyman. And, I've been giving him, strong wins whenever I've been booking the show, because, unfortunately, TEW still isn't great at, booking, super pushes, which is why he's, not a main eventer yet. I think he's whatever the game equivalent of upper mid-carder is. And basically, this is just sort of set up as the next, the next blockage on Lesnar's rise to the top. Jericho has been doing Chris Jericho things, making fun of him being a meathead. There's been some Cornette Jericho verbal battles, and there you go. So this gets a 67, and as we said before the actual match. So what happens here is that in About That Great Wrestling and Good Heat, Brock Lesnar defeated Chris Jericho in 13:35 with an overhead. Okay, we'll just say that's an F5 because that's mean to put the Jericho over him with just a belly to belly. But this gets a 79 because it's a really good match. But I basically, I said this is not even an open match. This is just, Chris Jericho gets his spots in, but this is not quite a Lesnar domination. But this is just, Lesnar looking like an absolute killer. And he just, pins Chris Jericho clean in the middle, nowhere for him to go. And then Lesnar and Cornette Celebrates gets a 75. Then we have a very quick Kane Hall video. These were two guys who were over who had to get put on the show, so I just had them randomly brawl in the back to set up the match. And that's it. It's a 72. It's nothing special. It's Kane in 2003 and Scott Hall in 2003. What do you want me to do here? And then in the actual match, which was actually not bad, probably because these guys are really over. So this is storytelling. Basically, Kane goes over Scott Hall in E28 by pinfall with a choke slam. This gets an 81, but this is just Kane going strong over Scott Hall. I don't even set it as open. This is just Kane killing him, just going over him strong. And then we set up the next match, which is Eddie Triple H, Guerrero versus Triple H. So the original setup was that way back in the lead up to last year's WrestleMania, Eddie was getting a strong push, and he was set to face Triple H, but Triple H actually went over, and kept the... No, I mean, oh shit, now I forget. But regardless, Eddie and Triple H, had a feud. Then Triple H, and this was, they're both baby faces. And then, they both were baby faces for the last year. So yeah, this is babyface early 2000s Triple H, which is, what you'd expect. But then in the lead up, which was, in the lead up to this, the whole scandal broke out with Triple H getting caught cheating with Lita, getting divorced from Stephanie. And so I had him, because he would be getting booed in arenas in real life, because that would be a huge story, even in, the quasi-internet age. So I basically had him and Eddie, because it was originally, quote-unquote, set up by them just being two competitors who both wanted, to rise to the top. I think I, set it up in my head as basically Triple H knocking Eddie out of the ring during the Royal Rumble. And then Guerrero, sort of lying, cheating, stealing Triple H also out of the Rumble. But regardless, at the end of the day, the big story happened when, after Eddie and Triple H lost a tag team title match, Triple H just pedigreed Eddie to earth. Triple H turned heel, but then, during his big heel promo, Stephanie McMahon came out, slapped him, because that's what would happen, and there you go. So then this gets a 75. We're off to Triple H's entrance, which gets an 83. And I just realized... Shit. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do something real quick here. Because I did not realize that I didn't change that, and that's something that, obviously should not be happening. So anyway, back to the match. So, yeah, okay. Okay. So that's... Okay. So that's sort of the first sign something might be wrong with the main event. Okay, so... That's unfortunate. But I'm still going to book it just because in real life they did go long. And, if the crowd goes against it a little too much, oh well. But regardless, in a battle that had superb wrestling and great heat, Eddie Guerrero defeated Triple H in 1945 pinfall with a frog splash. This gets an 82. Eddie got an 87. Triple H got an 94. Taz was weak. Heyman was weak. A match was a little too long given our audience. Let me see. Dig in the dirt sheet here. Let's see here. Penalized for length. Taz. Yeah, okay. And then Eddie celebrating also gets an 82. Then we have a segment setting up the Edge Taker match, which is basically Edge has been one of the actual people the game has really booked very well. So he was already main eventer at last WrestleMania, and there's been obviously an off and on feud in the game booked by the AI between Edge and Christian and Taker and Kane. So I've just been sort of leading into that, and sort of as an aftermath, as an after effect, sort of Edge wants Taker's streak. Edge, this is still Biker Taker, but a Hearse showed up at the last SmackDown, but then Taker showed up on his bike and attacked Edge from behind. But here we go. Yeah, just it's Edge wanting to take the streak and Taker wanting to sort of protect it and still show this is still his yard. And so that got an 85. And then Edge's entrance, which I actually have him think of him actually coming out in a hearse and sort of making fun of Taker, also getting an 85. Taker's entrance gets a 95 because he's the freaking Taker. And then the actual match, which goes 14:36. The Undertaker defeats Edge in 14:36 by pinfall at the Tombstone. This match gets an 85. Taz and Heyman were pretty weak at the announcing desk, but Edge got a 93. Taker got a 91. And yeah, just a really good match. I just imagine this being sort of the Taker Flair match where it's Taker kicking Edge all over the arena, but Edge cheating to keep advantage. But at the end of the day, Taker hits the Tombstone and gets a pinfall win on Edge. And Taker celebrating after that gets a 78. Next up, we get the Trish Lita video package, and this is basically Trish had the women's title. She won the women's match versus Lita, and then the whole Lita thing happened where she's with Triple H now, and so you can sort of guess what's going to happen here. But nothing special. This gets a 47. Then the actual match, which is an extremely short match. Trish Stratus defeated Lita in 30-52 by pinfall the Stratus faction. Trish made defense number 1 of her women's title. Yeah, again, this is me booking WWF really would, and Stephanie would want Lita to be squashed. And so Lita was squashed. And then Trish celebrating gets a 78. So then, in a freestyle segment, we have an Angle HBK video, basically going over everything I already went over with you guys, which gets an 80. Michael's entrance gets an 83, which I misnamed as a video. Angle entrance got a 79. And here's the big sort of, I don't want to say match, but I set this as what you would think a Kurt Angle Shawn Michaels match would go. So it's long. It's sort of set as a spectacle. It's set slow build, call and ring. So let's see if that all overcomes the length thing. It does not. Oh, okay. So basically it was literally just because of the too long thing. Okay, which is not the end of the world. An exceptional match. Kurt Angle defeated Shawn Michaels in 25-30 by pinfall to submission with an ankle lock. Kurt Angle makes defense number 7 as a world title. So how I imagine this match going is basically it's Angle and Michael, so it's pretty great. But at the end of the day, Shawn Michaels has been through a grueling match with Big Show. He's been thrown through tables. He's getting a little older. But most importantly, Kurt Angle, even though he's a heel, even though the fans hate him, he's still the best damn wrestler in the world. So I imagine him actually locking in that grapevine ankle lock at the end of the match finally, and Michael's just having nowhere to go and having to tap out. So this gets 79 despite Michael's getting 93. And so Angle celebrating gets an 86. Okay. So again, one more time for all time, this gets a 67, mainly because I set it up for 8 minutes, and I basically booked them based on their overness, which not the end of the world. Austin entrance gets an 81. Rocket's entrance get a 78, and then the world title match. Or main event. Ooh, okay. Well, that's unfortunate. So, let's see what happened here. Okay, so basically this was penalized for length. And basically the crowd was burned out. But anyway, an unbelievable match. So even though it got a 77, it was an unbelievable match because both Rock and Austin got 100s. So, like, this match will basically be, like seen as a fantastic match that the crowd was just burnt out on and didn't react as well to. So, yeah. So, again. But, yeah, this is just their actual WrestleMania 19 match. Like, there's nothing better I can do to that. So, it's just literally their WrestleMania 19 match. And then the crowd ends, where basically The Rock is celebrating, but he basically, because Austin has never turned face. There's no invasion. There's no invasion. There's no real Stone Cold. This has been asshole DTA Steve Austin, and even in recent months he's created a stable with Raven and the APA. But The Rock is celebrating. This is the end of an era. Austin's getting older. The Rock's going back to the movies. So at the end of the day, The Rock calls in Austin, and after a very tense moment, they do a beer bash to end the show, sort of signaling the end of an era. So this gets a 95, and the actual show got a 91. So again, all the extra stuff that I added, helped. So I'll make a speech, and Steve Austin, you get credit. Kurt Angle. No, I'll give Shawn credit because he did 2 matches. Shawn, you should be happy. And let's say, because who did a job on the undercard? Eddie. Thank you, Eddie. So, I'll be back in a second once this finishes loading up. But you won't notice any changes because I'm hitting the pause button. Okay, to sort of just over things and how my bad booking helped or hurt things. So first we got Big Show. If we track his progress, he actually got way more over thanks to basically being in a lot of main event angles and getting really over. So yay for him. Eddie Guerrero is now a modified actual main eventer. Edge, I think, is actually... Yeah, Edge actually got hurt by his loss to Taker, unfortunately. Kane's Kane, but I also don't care about him. Kurt Angle, let's see here. Is he actually even more over? So yeah, Kurt is now basically a hugely over guy. Shawn Michaels, I think is actually... Yeah, Michaels been hurt a little, so... But he's still a main eventer, but he just lost big time. Austin... Basically, Austin was 100 over now. Now he's 99 over. And The Rock. Yeah. So just being in that quote-unquote bad match probably hurt him there. And Taker. After actually being sort of... Yeah. He just basically kept his popularity. And Triple H. Let's see here how you got hurt. Or did you? Yeah. So he basically dropped down 5 points everywhere. If you look over, let's see here. Is there anybody else who we probably want to check on real quick here? Star-wise, Benoit still 70s. Oh, Chris Jericho. Let's see here how hard losing to Brock. Okay, so he lost a pretty good solid points. Let's see here. Let's find our friend Brock to see where he is. Okay, so Brock's still not quite a upper mid card guy, but if we look at his actual... So, yeah, this was a huge win for him. So, he should be basically a pretty top guy here. Let's see if, this really hurt Lita all that much. Let's see here. She got a... Whoops. So, no. Even getting dropped like that, because I didn't, put it as a, I didn't put it as a total squash or, burial. But Trish Stratus is up here, so... Just to like actually check things out, just in case you're interested. So again, titles, European titles with Jerry Lynn. Intercontinental title is with Chris Benoit for the 4th time. Light heavyweight title is still with Jerry Lynn. But here's the other thing I'm doing. I am retiring the light heavyweight title, because it's basically been like a low card title that's been not used well by the game, and like the European title, is been around. So I'm going to actually like retire the light heavyweight title just like it was in real life. Women's world title is with Trish Stratus. World Tag Team titles are with Tommy Dreamer and Rhyno to end the AP's reign, and the World Heavyweight Champion is still Kurt fucking Angle. Creative wise, so Rock, Austin, Angle, Michaels, Triple H. Who do you expect? Next thing things is Orton, Hardy, Brock, Molly, Trish. And who do you expect? Top prospects is Orton, Hardy, Lita, Brock, Molly. Who's hot? Austin, Taker, Angle, Edge, Show. Who's not? Taz. And yeah. And yeah, just to sort of like take a look at the backstage. So, here's some fun stuff. Linda McMahon hates Lita. Linda McMahon hates Triple H. Shane McMahon hates Lita. Shane McMahon hates Triple H. Seth McMahon hates Lita. Triple H has split up with Stephanie McMahon. And yeah. So that's a little interesting. And it'll be interesting to see what'll happen here as like they do the rest of their booking. Let me just check out their events TV, just make sure their event booking. See, this thing I keep on forgetting that they've screwed up. So this is something I should have checked. No, wait. Yeah, why didn't I fix this? Because you're dumb, Jess? Yeah, probably. Okay, well, I'm not going to do this on screen because that'd be dumb. So I'll go ahead and fix those in a second. But anyway, if you'd enjoyed this, go ahead and give it a like. Comment below on what you've enjoyed or not enjoyed, and subscribe to the channel for fun TEW 2020 content. That's all for now. So thank you, and adios.